Welcome back to Better Living. It is time for Better Retirement here. It happens every Friday. Jeff Bucher is here from Citizen Advisory Group, and he has not come alone today because he has a very special birthday boy with him.
Yes, this is my son Lincoln. Today's his 7th birthday, and I guess they celebrated by taking school off today.
Oh, so nice of him.
He gets to come to the studio and check it all out and see what's going on in TV world.
That's right. He's a big first grader. That makes him very smart, much smarter than the rest of us. Because
Absolutely.
you don't have to be smart to work in TV. Don't tell anybody else, but that's my story.
I'm not sure about that.
So let's talk about Citizen Advisory Group, and let's talk about the standard, because there are different standards that apply in the financial industry. So can you explain them to me first?
Well, for most consumers, you may not even understand or know that this even exists, and that's, I think, a topic that's very important to understand. There's two types of advisors, basically, that have two different sets of rules, and they're governed by different government entities. And we're most familiar with, I think most people are familiar with the brokerage world, where I have a stockbroker, and they're there to help me purchase investments. And in that world, they're governed by FINRA, and FINRA says they have to sell products to consumers that are suitable. And so that's where the level of care, so to speak, comes into play for that advisor. Suitability says when they work with a consumer or a potential client, whatever they sell that person has to be suitable, but not necessarily what's in their best interest. And so that's where some conflicts can come into place. You know, suitability is a funny word.
It is a funny word, and we've got a slide that kind of lays it out exactly what it is. I'm going to look at my cheat sheet of this slide so I can see. And I think that's the most important part, that while they're supposed to do what's suitable, it's not in the best interest. It doesn't have to be. It
doesn't have
the
to
best
be.
interest.
Right, so it doesn't.
Sometimes it is.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean that if you work with someone that works with suitability as a suitability advisor, doesn't mean they're out to get you. But it does mean they have choices. And if they have a choice that might benefit themselves, meaning, you know, I could sell you something that makes me more money, as long as it's still suitable to you, it's within the rules. And suitability is kind of like, I relate it to eating. You know, you come into our office and you're hungry. I can give you a candy bar, or I can give you a filet mignon. Two very different things, but you know, I've quenched your hunger. That was certainly suitable for your hunger, but different caloric intake, different nutritional value, different cost structure. I might make different amount of money on those products. And so as long as I've met suitability, I can do what's best for me. So if selling the filet makes me more money, I can certainly do that, and I haven't broken any rules or laws.
Well, and you've also provided me more protein than a Snickers bar, just for the record. But they say, you know, it satisfies you. I don't know. The next standard is that fiduciary standard, and that is a higher level of accountability, for lack of a better word.
Right, so the fiduciary standard is where an advisor has to put the client's interests first. And so it's a very different obligation than suitability. So when you have an advisor that has fiduciary duty to you, they have to disclose all conflicts of interest. They have to disclose all of the fees. They have to disclose everything to you, because ultimately your interests always come first. When there's faced with the choice of should I sell this Snickers, should I sell this filet mignon, it has to be what's in your best interest, not what's in the best interest of the advisor. Let's
put that next slide up that shows, I think the thing that's most important is whether or not you have to say whether or not you're paid a quarterly, that's not right. You are paid a quarterly fee calculated. It's a percentage of, right?
Right. So typically a fiduciary advisor is going to be being paid based on how much is in the account on a quarterly basis. Sometimes it's charged monthly, but there's a fee that is assessed to the funds as opposed to commissions. That's really the function of how this works. Suitability advisors get paid a commission up front to sell you the product. Fiduciary advisors get paid fees ongoing. What that does is it puts the advisor and the individual in the same boat. The more money you have, the more money the advisor makes. So the incentive is with the advisor to make you more money. If I get paid up front, my incentive is not quite there anymore.
And again, like you said, you may have different products that you're selling in that case where you make more. So let's talk about what Citizen Advisory Group is.
Yeah, so we're a fee-based advisor, so we have that fiduciary obligation. Again, that's a legal obligation between us and our clients that says we'll always put them first. Not many advisors out there work in that realm. Most are commission-based brokers. It's a kind of a lightning rod topic right now on Capitol Hill because when 2008, I think we can all remember the markets had a pretty big decline.
Right.
People lost a lot of money. Congress came in and did a lot of studying on what's going on in the financial services world, and there was a recommendation that said anyone that works with a client's money, that puts their hands on money, should have fiduciary obligation to that person. Obviously, that was a recommendation, not law. So now what's happening in Capitol Hill now is a lot of lobbying is happening to try to save potentially the suitability standard for the big brokerage houses, the big brokerage firms.
Well, and most of when you hear controversy about people losing money, it generally is people who only have that suitability standard.
You know, it comes back to it's a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
If I get paid up front, I sometimes will argue that I have an incentive that you don't do well. Because if you do well...
Then you have to do it again.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
If you do well, you're not ever going to ask me to change anything. And if you don't change anything, I don't get paid. And so the incentive just isn't quite there. And that's why we chose from the onset of our firm to be that fiduciary advisor that is in the boat with the client. We're in the same muddy waters. And my compensation is directly impacted by the values that are in your accounts. So in 2008, when the markets went crashing down, if our clients lost 40% of their money, like many people did, that means I would have lost 40% of my income. And that doesn't work too well, especially when we got birthdays coming up and we got to pay for these parties and such.
I need to know. He's going to think about it over the break and let me know what he wants for his birthday, what he's hoping for. Because I figure if we say it on TV, Dad's going to have to buy it. That's all I'm saying. We're going to talk about some events that are coming up for Citizen Advisory Group when we get back after the break. Welcome back to Better Retirement on Better Living. I'm here with Jeff from Citizen Advisory Group and a birthday boy for sure. We talked about whether or not what he wanted for his birthday. I tried to convince him he needs a car.
He's not quite ready for that.
No, his dad would have to buy it then, right? Because we said it on TV. But he is going to go see the new SpongeBob movie as a big birthday party. So those were the days.
Well,
you know?
it ought to be interesting. I don't know what I think of SpongeBob, but we'll find out tomorrow,
right.
I guess.
Well, let's talk. We were talking about the difference between a suitability standard and a fiduciary standard. Why is it so important as we look at our retirement specifically, not when we're in that gathering stage, maybe in our 20s. I hope people are doing that in their 20s. That'd be awesome. I did not, but their 20s and 30s. But as they get a little older, why is that fiduciary standard so very important?
Well, it really comes down to whether it's good or bad, or one is better than the other. I don't know if that's really the case, but as a consumer, as I'm getting closer to retirement, I have to understand who I'm working with.
Right.
And so if I'm working with someone that has suitability standard to me, that means I have to do a little more due diligence. I have to do a little more research. I have to vet these choices out a little bit harder because potentially this person may not be putting my interest first. Doesn't mean that's the case, but potentially. Whereas in a fiduciary standard advisor, you know, it's a legal obligation that they have to put me first. Now, that doesn't mean they're always right or they're always going to make the right choices, but at least that the effort is always there to put my interest first. And as I get closer to retirement, the stakes are much higher. You know, when we see volatility, when we're saving money, it's actually not a bad thing for us. If we're putting money in each and every week out of our paycheck to the 401k, and a 2008 happens, that was terrible mentally maybe, and we looked at our statement and thought, holy cow, I lost a lot of money. But because I was still putting money in each and every month or each and every week, I was actually buying low in 2008. And so that actually helped me, that crash of 2008. And I probably have more money today than I would have had we not seen that crash. But as we get closer to retirement, the stakes are high. I can't afford to lose that money because it's what we're going to have to live on the rest of our lives. You know, I always talk about retirement being, in the past, we had Social Security, a pension, and we lived 2, 3, 4 years, and that would be it in retirement. Well, many of us are looking at a retirement now of 30 plus years. So how do we make that all work? And if we don't have an advisor that's always working on our behalf, always making sure that all the bases are covered, we might have trouble getting through that 30-year retirement.
Well, and it's important to me. I want to get to enjoy my hopefully 30-year retirement.
But that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, I need that money there.
I always talk about retirement as a special time, right? We think about it all the time. When you're 20, all the way till retirement, you're thinking about what it's going to be like, the things we're going to get to do, the fun, and the, it's certainly not about which stock, bond, or mutual fund to pick. It's about golf and grandkids and all that kind of stuff, right? And or even kids too, our own kids. And that's what it's all about ultimately. But we have to make sure that the money's there to be able to enjoy all those things, and not only there, but to last a lifetime, which again could be that 30-year time horizon.
One thing that you guys do at Citizen Advisory Group, which I think is so important, is you have these seminars all the time, and sometimes they're on specific topics like Social Security or Medicare, but you also will do, and you are about to do one, that will kind of discuss over, kind of an overview, and discuss that suitability and fiduciary standards.
So we have events every single month that include, you mentioned Social Security seminars for those that have not elected Social Security. Very important. There's so many different ways to elect Social Security. Quite frankly, it's one of your largest financial assets. And so many people just elect. They don't have any advice or any help of how to elect. There's different ways you can take Social Security. So we have seminars for that. We have Medicare seminars, one of the most confusing topics. My gosh, when you turn 65, if you're not there yet, you'll understand. You're going to get a mountain of mail. It's all marketing material from all these companies. What do you buy? Who knows? So we have those seminars for that. But then we have these retirement workshops, which is what's coming up March 5th at Rockwell's downtown. And those are geared more towards just the general premises of how do you plan for retirement. You know, if you're 50 and up, you're getting close to retirement. Well, what do you do now? You've been saving your money your whole life. I had a couple in the office yesterday, and she said, you know, well, we've been retirement planning for a long time, I guess, but I guess that just meant we were saving money. I don't know what it means now. I don't know what it means to us.
Because it does change.
Right. So it's a whole different game. Once you get to near or in retirement, we need to start repositioning those assets maybe into different types of investments so that we can start generating the income that we want in retirement. And so that's what that workshop's about. We talk about the fiduciary standard and what the differences are. We talk about many different topics in that. And
we should RSVP for that because you have to have a reservation because a few things. There's food. There's food. And that's important. And they fill up, don't they? They fill up very quickly. And so if you go to our website at citizenadvisory.com, you can click on the events tab and you'll see all of the events, our Social Security, Medicare, and then this retirement workshop. And so yes, we do need RSVPs because they fill up very, very quickly. That makes a lot of sense. What is it too late? Let's say somebody's watching and they're 65 and maybe they haven't retired yet. They're just off today because it's so stinking cold outside. Yeah. Is it too late for them to come to something like this? No, I don't think it's ever too late, even if you are retired, because the strategies and the principles are never too late to employ. Now, obviously, just like anything in life, the earlier you plan, the better. Absolutely. And so that's always good. But even if I'm retired or I'm about to retire next month, it's time that we start to look at how this is all going to work. Most people we meet have absolutely no idea what their income and what everything's going to look like in retirement. They just hope. They just hope it's all going to work out. And I would say, you don't have to hope. You should know. You should be very comfortable and confident to know that you're going to be able to live out these golden years. And that's what these workshops talk about, and that's what we do at our firm. Well, it would definitely give you a peace of mind that would make all the difference in the world. So get registered for that conference or that seminar coming up. And happy birthday. I will spare you me singing happy birthday to you because we don't want to break anyone's television screen. So check out citizenadvisory.com for more information on all the upcoming seminars. We'll be right back.